I was on a well-deserved vacation at a beach resort in the Caribbean with my travel buddy Anthony. As an investment banker, I work 60 to 70 hours weeks on the regular, so I was really glad to finally get some quality time off. It was a beautiful resort. The white sand beachfront, the calm, clear blue ocean, and the restaurants that served mouth-watering seafood was everything I could ask for. The nightlife down there was an experience of its own, and I was still a bit hungover from the previous night. I was sitting on the sandy beach, looking out into the ocean, hoping that the rolling waves would lull me to sleep. But there was so much life and activity on the beach. In my hungover state, it was just too much for me. So I decided to walk down the beach further away from the resort to find some peace and quiet. I had to walk quite a bit before I finally found a beach strip away from the chaos. It was perfect. I closed my eyes and soaked in the warmth of the sun. I was relishing the moment, my mind gently drifting away, when I was suddenly woken from my trance. A little child was crying. I opened my eyes and looked around. Some 100 feet away, a little boy was crouched up on the sand and crying. There wasn't anyone else within an earshot distance. My first impulse was to ignore the kid. I was on vacation. But the crying continued, and I couldn't just watch and do nothing. So I walked over to the kid. Hey, little buddy, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Where are your parents? A boy, probably around the age of 7, looked up to me. The pale eyes and tear-stained face instantly made me feel sorry for the poor thing. At first, I wondered if he was blind because he seemed to stare at me rather blankly. He held a dog collar in one hand. I lost my dog, mister. His name is Archer. I looked everywhere, but I can't find him. My dad will be very angry if I go home without Archer. He began to sob again. All right, don't worry. I'll help you look for him. Which way do you think we should start searching? There was a twinkle in his eye as I said this, and he hurriedly stood up. Let's look this way. I already searched the other side, he said, pointing at the lonely beach strip that directed further away from my resort. I sighed and agreed. We called out the dog's name and peered through the marshes that grew alongside the coast. Maybe it could be stuck in one of the shrubs or hurt, I thought to myself. We kept walking along the coast, but there was no sign of Archer. Hey, kid, where did you say you last saw Archer? I asked just to break the silence. We walked quite a distance by now, and apart from the rolling waves and the occasional squeaking bird, there wasn't much else for company. I was getting tired of the search at this point, and quite honestly, I just wanted to turn back, get to the resort, and have a drink. The kid ignored my question. He seemed rather absent-minded the whole time. Suddenly, he ran a few steps ahead of me and exclaimed, Look, mister, paw prints on the sand! It was true. I could clearly see paw prints on the sand, but it was rather strange because the prints didn't lead anywhere. The paw prints continued for a few meters, but then just suddenly stopped. The ocean waves didn't reach that far into the land, so it couldn't have been washed up by the waves, I thought to myself. But then again, it could have been any dog and not Archer. Or maybe the owner decided to carry the dog. But then I realized I couldn't see anybody's footsteps either. I really couldn't care at this point. I just wanted to turn back. But the paw prints raised the kid's spirits and he was excited. Mister, we must be close. Let's go! And he ran along ahead of me. Well, alright. I'll just give this a little more time, I thought. If I turned back now, it would be all for nothing. Besides, the dog might actually be nearby. So, I followed the kid, calling out Archer at the top of my lungs. Archer! 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 Still nothing. No sign of the dog. The sun was now starting to set, and it was getting rather dark. I called out to the kid. Hey, kid, listen. I think we'll have to call off the search for today. Maybe you could try again tomorrow? I'm sure he's somewhere safe, I said, trying to sound reassuring. Please, let's just check a little more. I'm sure he's really close. We literally just saw his paw prints. Listen, kid, I really have to get back to my hotel. I got a lot of things to do. My dog. He began to cry again. Listen, we're gonna check those shrubs over there. But if we don't find Archer there, we have to turn back, okay? I'm sure Archer's fine. Please stop crying. I'm such a pushover. But at this point, I almost felt responsible for getting this kid someplace safe. We searched the shrubs. Nothing. Nothing at all. No Archer. Alright, we have to turn back now. Let's go. No, please. We're really close. I think Archer might have gotten lost in those caves over there, he said, pointing at some dark caves ahead of us. I had absolutely no intention of going anywhere near those caves. This time, I stood my ground. No, sorry. We have to go now. I really need to get back, and you have to get home. It's late, and it's dark. I made it clear that I wasn't going any further. Let's head back. But then, suddenly the kid's expression changed. Oh, so you're done helping. You're so useless, mister. I was taken aback by the scorn in the kid's voice. I couldn't believe it. I was helping this kid from the start, from the beginning, for hours, and he had the audacity to talk to me like that? I was so annoyed at this point that I was ready to leave whether he came or not. That's it. I'm turning back, kid. Do you know how to get home? Oh, Alan, this is my home. The real question is, do you? The kid said with a horrifying chuckle. My blood turned cold, and I thought my heart would pop out of my chest. At no point had I mentioned that my name was Alan. The kid was now staring at me intently. His piercing eyes and horrid grin made my skin crawl. The kid was transforming into something dark and vicious right before my eyes. The creature standing before me was anything but human. This kid, well, not a kid, this thing, whatever it was looking right at me. I couldn't even bring myself to scream. I wanted to scream, but I was in complete shock and I felt paralyzed, its eyes glaring and grin widening. It took a step towards me, and that's all I remember. The next morning, I awoke in my hotel room bed. My travel buddy, Anthony, was sitting by my side. He told me what had happened. I had been found passed out on the beach by some tourist. Searching for some sort of ID, they had found my hotel room key, which I had thankfully carried with me. I was taken back to the hotel. Anthony still thinks I had too much to drink and passed out on the beach. I let him believe that. I mean, what else was there to say? I asked myself. I'm not even sure what exactly happened. Once Anthony left, I went to the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. Hidden by my shirt, there were dark, purple circles around my neck. It was almost as if someone had tried to strangle me. Then I noticed the crucifix I wore around my neck. It was burnt, like it had been taken out of a fire. It was a crucifix my mother gifted me years ago when she came back from Italy. Whatever happened that night, I was certain that it was this crucifix that saved my life. This area of the beach was notorious for drunk tourists wandering out and drowning in the ocean. This made me wonder, were these people really drunk? Or were they just trying to help find a missing dog? I hope you all really enjoyed this story. If you did, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. There's going to be a lot more stories coming out, so please make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. And remember guys, if you ever think of searching for a lost dog in the dark, just don't.